Hello, my name is Raul Hinojosa, and this is going to be our TED Talk presentation. My group members are Kidion Flowers, I'm Raul Hinojosa, Christopher Reeves, Otis Thompson, Faith Virial, and Allison Pena. Um, the TED Talk that we decided to choose was The Cost of Workplace Stress and How to Reduce It by Rob Cook. And I think this is very interesting because we know that in the workplace that there's a lot of stress that can happen. Like you have workplace environments such as customers and competitors. We all know that customers could sometimes be stressful, and then you also, if you're a manager, you have to deal with competing stores or businesses in your area. So that could be really stressful for a manager. Um, a manager can also have stress from employees if they're not getting any um, work time hours or just stuff like that. And then as a manager, you're also trying to have a stress to have a ethical workplace because you don't want to have a non-ethical workplace in the area. And then as for anybody, as a team leader or manager or employee, you also have to make planning. You also have to plan and decision making. That could be really stressful because you are in an environment where everyone's looking at you to make a decision or have a plan at it. And then with that, as an employee at a business, you also have external factors like family. Like family is also really stressful on you. You probably not making the right amount of pay that you want, and that could be stressful for you and your family if you're the provider. So these are all concepts that we learned in our in our in our chapters, like workplace environments on chapter 3, uh, ethical workplace environment chapter 4. But I think the question is, how can we reduce these stresses, and how can a manager also um, help reduce these stresses? Because as Rob Cook stated in his TED Talk, we spend trillions of dollars every year on stress, and that is medical supplies. So we we as a workplace environment have to understand and have to listen to our employees if something is stressing them out. So I think throughout this presentation, me and my group members are gonna figure out ways to help reduce this stress.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Otis Thompson, and my part is about Chapter 13, Managing Human Resources and Organizations. And after watching Rob's Cook TED Talk video, we all thought that Chapter 13, Managing Human Resources and Organizations, is right to compare the two TED Talk video in chapter 13. So the set of some human resources is the set of organization activities directed at attracting, developing, and maintaining an effective workforce. Four basic four basic functions of human resource management are planning, directing, controlling, and organizing. Without human resources management and organizations, companies would not be able to effectively hire and keep possessions of new employees, while also improving and enhancing the company. And that's the end of my slide. Next is my next part.
Hello, my name is Christopher Reyes, and I'm talking about chapter 14. It's kind of a big chapter as opposed to our TED Talk. Having to deal with stress and just stress in general. As he says, stress could cause, and in some studies does cause, up to $300 billion annually. And that's honestly kind of a big number to think about. In total, one person being stressed throughout the whole company, just think about how many companies there are, that can accumulate very quickly to 300 billion, even more if, later on studies may come out. Whenever it comes to like dealing with stress, there's two types of personalities. I like to call them the gas and brake personalities. Gas they kind of entice with their names there. Gas is extremely competitive. They're always looking to continue to do more and do more and look for other tasks to take on to kind of, I guess, bury themselves in work in order to relieve some of the stress, which seems kind of counterintuitive, but it works for some people. Um, they work with a sense of urgency. They want to get everything. They want to do everything as much as they can, as fast as they can, and they want to try to complete every task that's possible for them to complete. They will ask for more work and just continuously drowning themselves with, their work. And the other type is, the breaks. They shut down. They veer away from additional work and maybe even the work that they already are assigned to. They're constantly overthinking. Am I doing this right? Am I creating these tasks right? Am I delegating enough? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? And in turn, they're very not productive because they're more worried about how others are going to view them and are they actually doing the work that they are supposed to be. And then when it comes to managing the stress, there's many people manage in very different ways. Some people, like I said, immerse themselves in work. Some people kind of take themselves out of that environment. Some people either find other jobs or move on or whatever the case may be. But I guess like good rule of thumb for managing stress would be regular exercise, and that doesn't necessarily mean to go work out and go run and go do this or do that. It just mentally exercise. So, get some physical exercise, relieve some of that stress, whether it be, physically with pushing a dumbbell or maybe just getting out and getting some fresh air and walking around the park or walking around the campus, whatever the case may be. And another good one is relaxation, allowing yourself to just feel the stress and to say, okay, I do have this stress. This is my task, and being able to be okay with the stress, and that will help you, you know, later down the line whenever you may get more tasks or a bigger project to do with. Time management is always, always, always a big thing to help relieve stress. If you're able to manage your time and take it one step at a time, one task at a time, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, you're able to kind of break it up into segments, which allows you to feel good about yourself. Man, I did good. I sent that email. I did that portfolio, whatever the case may be. And a good thing too, another one is support groups. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to a AA type of meeting, but being able to have some kind of social life outside of just work. If you indulge yourself with work every day, work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep, then you'll lose yourself. You'll feel like, man, this is all I do. And with that, I mean, you're able to hang out with some friends, go to a library, go be social, whatever works best for you, and that helps out. And I mean, he entices, in the TED Talk he talks about that as well, is just being able to manage your stress, and not overthinking it, and just being able to just to be yourself and be okay with the stress. But if you need to, being able to find your outlets to relieve the stress. I think that's a key, really good thing to do.
My name is Alison Villaseñor, and I'll be presenting Chapter 5, Managing Employee Motivation and Performance. So in the TED Talk, Rob Cook speculates that the stress we feel originates from the place that we spend the most time and effort in, the workplace. So logically, a strong workplace should provide support and motivation that doesn't stress employees as much as it does now. Cook states that the corporation should monitor the well-being of their employees with the same accuracy and precision used to track earnings. So in the video, he also recommends that a leader should take these 3 steps: participation, communication, and action. In the TED Talk, Rob Cook uses his coach as an example for participation. So with his coach, he would train alongside with the team and do the same exercises, just to gauge how much effort it would take and whether it was too much for his players. Um, and in doing so, it also allowed the players a sense of confidence, and they also felt as though they could do this because if their coach could do it, then they can as well. So it basically gave them no excuse to slack. And communication, of course, refers to being able to go to your leader and addressing any concerns that you have. And of course, action. So when the appropriate action is taken, such as the leader addressing those concerns previously mentioned, and if they don't take any action, then that could really lead to more stress because the employee will just feel unheard. And for the next slide, it's a continuation of chapter 15. When comparing this chapter to the TED Talk, I also realized that the theme of the video fell in line with the needs hierarchy approach. The hierarchy states that people must satisfy 5 groups of needs in order: physiological, security, belongingness, esteem, and self-actualization. So as you can see, I also have the 5 needs hierarchy on the side. The first one, physiological needs, refers to the basic human needs, which is air, water, food, shelter, sleep, and clothing. The next one, security, would be the safety needs: personal security, employment, resources, and health. Third is that belongingness, which is listed here as love and belonging. It refers to the friendship, intimacy, family, or sense of connection that one might feel. Esteem is, of course, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, and strength. And finally, self-actualization is the desire to become the most one can be. The 3 recommended actions that a leader should take, participation, communication, and action, can satisfy those needs. So with participation, that will of course create a sense of belonging, sensing the boss work alongside side you all instead of isolated will build onto that relationship it will build onto either that relationship or sense of connection with that boss, and it allows for trust and respect to grow. And of course, communication also helps with love and belonging, but it can also help with safety needs and esteem. So for example, if an employee felt as though he was underperforming, his boss could either reassure him that he's performing sufficiently, or he can give him some tips as to how he can improve his performance, which it can still lead to a rise in esteem. And if there was an employee who maybe questioned whether or not they would have a place, for example, downsizing, the boss could also reassure them whether they'll keep their employment or not. And finally, the right action can also add on to any of these traits. For example, if a person feels a hostile work environment and they discuss it with their boss can help take action and provide a more comfortable environment for that employee.
What's up, y'all? My name is Kendi Flowers, and I got 2 questions to ask y'all based off the TED Talk. Does the stress and anxiety caused from an employee's workplace reflects on leadership and management of the company? And how do companies accommodate employees when they feel stressed or anxious? Basically asking, should companies be a bit more considerate and accommodating to employees when they start giving them work tasks before they start stressing them out, making them feel anxious or giving anxiety?